Sweet. Yo, what's up, guys? It's McKay with GFNF. This is Nate. Nate, you want to introduce yourself?
What's up, guys? Nice to meet you all. GFNF, poppin'. This is Nate Flips FBA, full-time Amazon seller,
Let's go.
full-time hustler.
Yep.
Definitely appreciate McKay you bringing me on.
No problem, bro. Nate, guys, this podcast is going to be similar to the one we did a couple weeks ago with FBA Marty, Zach. Nate is buddies with them as well. To start this podcast off, I just kind of wanted to bring in guys who are in my network. Marty and Zach talked about the importance of having a network of Amazon sellers who are crushing it. So much of what I've learned is through guys like Marty, Zach, and Nate. And so we're going to talk to Nate and just kind of pick his eye about, what he's interested in on Amazon, what his goals are for this year, what he did last year. And Nate was crushing it in December when I wasn't crushing it. So we're going to talk to him about that. Nate, do you want to just kind of explain like who you are, how you got started on Amazon, and what you've done so far?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll give you a good, well-rounded answer. So basically, I'm 26 years old. I graduated from college in 2019 with a mechanical engineering degree. However, I did not take a actual mechanical engineering job. Throughout college, I would work with my uncle doing contracting, so like construction, home remodeling, stuff like that. And that was at the time like a really it was kind of like a passion of mine. So when I graduated, I just started my own business, and I was doing all of that work. So a lot of like real estate people I'd work with, blah blah blah. But to go along with that, throughout college, I did have a reselling business, mainly eBay, and it was Average College Joe's. That was my
Okay.
that was my handle.
That was the store name?
Still
Okay.
have the Instagram if
Sick.
you want to look it up. But I do like thrift stores and stuff like that. But I stopped doing that mainly because, to me, I didn't think I could scale that.
Yeah.
So, you have to spend X amount of hours at all these different stores, drive all around, put a bunch of miles on your car, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I stopped doing that my senior year of college, and then I just did, the construction work for many years. But I'm always been an entrepreneur type of person, like a lot of you guys in GFNF. I'm sure you have a huge like crypto group and stocks and stuff like that. And so I was always into those type of areas of the world, basically, of business.
Yeah.
And then in last year during the summertime, I fell into, like many of us, we just start watching YouTube, get into Instagram, all that stuff. We see some ads for, FBA people and Amazon this, Amazon that. People are making boatloads of money, Do you believe them all? I don't know. But
Yeah.
I started watching tons and tons of content, and it was something that I wanted to do for many years. So I just, took the leap. That's what you have to do. You got to take the risk. I started my Amazon sellers account. I actually signed up for a coaching course, which, costed a boatload of money at the time. But I knew I had to, like switch my lifestyle up. I knew I needed something that I could, pursue full time, and something that was scalable. I knew my construction business, it's very hard to get loyal workers that are going to stick around with you, that are only going to make, like, you can only pay people like $20 to maybe $30 an hour tops.
Yeah.
And how many of those people can you get on your side and to stick with you for many years? I don't know, not that many. They're very, it's a dying trade, and it's very hard to do. So I knew, let's start a business online.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why not? So that's what I did. Started at pretty much June is when I started diving into it. July is when I started, and yeah, been just going hard ever since, really.
That's awesome. Okay. I got to ask about the course, the coaching you paid for, because a lot of us we were already in a group that covered Amazon, right? In GFNF, we have a whole Amazon category built out, which is a little different than a course. It's less one-on-one work unless someone was like in a support ticket with us, and more like group coaching calls pretty much where I'm just sitting in a voice call in Discord, just, fielding questions.
Yeah.
What was your, first of all, what got you to, I don't know how much your course costed or your coaching costed, but how much or what in you like decided, okay, it's finally time for me to put probably a good amount of money to the side to invest in yourself to get a coach for Amazon?
Yeah. So to kind of go, not exactly that to your answer, but like
Yeah.
just like to give you background, but
Yeah.
like a lot of things in life, you have to have skin in the game to actually like for it to mean something to you. Like if you get like all the information on courses is free on YouTube, free on Google. You can find it. You can find it.
Mm.
The problem that I found and that other people probably find is there's too much information.
Mm.
So what made me want to get a coach was that one-on-one aspect, the direct line of communication you can have with someone to ask them, anything. Kind of like what you guys offer in GFNF. I didn't have
Yeah.
GFNF, so I obviously
That's
didn't
interesting.
take that up. But yeah, it's like people like there's infinite amount of information out there, but
Yeah.
if you put skin in the game and you like commit that dollar value to something, I felt like that was me committing to that coach.
Yep.
Like I'm ready. Like let's do
Yeah.
this. Like let's take it to the full extent possible. So I'm putting up $3,000.
Wow.
That's what I paid.
Wow.
A lot of money, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That could be a month worth of
construction,
someone
right?
working or
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
So I put the skin in the game, and that was my like realization to myself. Like, look, there's no going back. Like, you're not throwing 3,000 out the window. You're gonna take it to like its full advantage, its full, potential and everything. So
Yeah.
that was like, I hope it answered your question.
Absolutely.
But yeah.
Yeah, no, it's almost just like someone, like it's the new year right now, right? People are paying money to invest in a personal trainer for their health. Same thing, right? They're
Yeah.
putting money up front to tie them down to staying consistent on something. That's really interesting. That's not the answer I expected. So it's really cool that, you used a coaching one-on-one program as a way to kind of hold yourself in and make yourself stay with this for as long as you could. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
so with your coaching, like once you worked with a coach one-on-one, right, and you got a fundamental understanding of how Amazon works, how these guys are crushing it, what was that process like of you kind of moving your way into it yourself? Because I know you crush now. So how long was that process of like you learning at first to really starting to stay consistent with Amazon and see like actual numbers like I've seen you do the past few months?
Yeah. So pretty much, I signed up with a coaching course that the guy had tons of YouTube content out there. And, using that YouTube content and the coaching together, I tried to mirror myself just like this person. If they're having, a couple $1 million in sales a year, doing what I would think they were like putting out as content,
Yep.
if I do that same stuff, I'll have results, maybe not to the same scale, but like a scale, like a level below it, but something I can work with and something that's tried and true. So that's kind of what I did was I just, took in as much content as possible and then take that like education and like put that into like action. So if they're, sourcing X product, I'm going to source X product and I'm going to look at all the other sellers selling X product to find out maybe what else they're selling. And, you just go down little rabbit holes, and that's what people call like reverse sourcing or storefront stocking. Those like, terms
Yeah.
or like tactics you use to find new products.
Yeah. Would you say that reverse sourcing was the easiest first step into sourcing? That's a question we get a lot in GFNF is, they understand how this all works, but they don't know where to start.
Yeah. So really the number one thing you want to work on is your Keepa skills and your SellerAmp skills. You need to be able to go onto a listing, look at that Keepa, really identify within that 90-day time frame, what the historical price is, how many units a month sell, how many other sellers there are. You need to like be able to identify all those things, and it's just like a check mark for each thing. If it has too many sellers, maybe move on. If it doesn't sell enough units a month for the amount of sellers it has, move on. If the price is too low, like there's a certain like threshold of pricing even.
Mm.
Like I won't even go under. If it's below $25, I typically won't even like look any further into that product, just because of the way the fees on Amazon work and stuff like that. Lower ticket items, I just pass on. So you need to get those basic skills down first,
Yep.
and then you can like build upon those with the reverse sourcing, the storefront stocking, etc.
Got it. Yeah, absolutely. What was your like biggest roadblock you think getting started? That's kind of just to follow up on that question. Like what was there anything where you were just confused? You didn't know how to use it, or do you think coaching was there for you to just kind of answer any big roadblocks you came across?
I think the biggest roadblock for me
Mm-hmm.
was building up the confidence really to like buy stuff,
Yeah.
because it's a daunting task when you have a new credit card that you might have like a $5,000 limit. Maybe it's more than that. Maybe it's 20,000. But like you want to have the confidence that whatever you're buying is going to sell, and it's going to sell for profit, so you can pay that off.
Yeah.
That's definitely. I mean, that's still kind of a roadblock I come into every now and then. Is like I'll see a decent looking product, but it's an iffy product. So that's something I'm constantly battling and getting better at.
Yeah, no, me too. I definitely find more iffy products than good products right now, which is that's how it
Yeah.
goes. That's how it's supposed to be, right? Is we find
Yeah.
products and we make incisive decisions based on those products. The goal is obviously to filter out the iffy ones. And what Nate just said, like Nate made. What's funny because I didn't talk to Nate about this before about what we were going to cover, and Nate
Yeah.
said something that is I've emphasized in the group for weeks and weeks, and it's like having a fundamental knowledge of SellerAmp and Keepa is so crucial because you can't go any further there. And so, Nate obviously the answer he answered his own question about like what roadblocks he hit. The reason he didn't say his biggest roadblock was SellerAmp or Keepa is because he probably sat down and dedicated the time to figuring those out. And so now he can make more informed buying decisions. And that's crucial. It's so easy, Nate. The industry that my group kind of comes from is just a reselling industry where we're not looking at an Air Jordan 1 price to see if it's profitable as it's dropping. We just know that the price is good and we're buying these sizes regardless. With products like these, it's so much more hands-on, and you have to really look into the past sales history of it. You can't just go, what do they call it, Nate? Chad buying? I see guys on Twitter say that all the time. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like they'll just go buy 100 units of an item, and that does work, right? These guys buying a ton of Nike socks or like a Nike sportswear hoodie, like products that everyone's buying and they just move quickly. Those are acceptable.
Right.
But like if we're finding some strange little flip that Nate's kind of talking about where it's an iffy buy, Chad buying the full $5,000 limit that Nate talked about is probably not ideal, right? That's not strategic at all. Um,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, interesting. So a question that a member had was, how do you deal with returns? And this is just a random question, but I know you sell. What would you say? What's your breakdown of items sold? Like clothing, health and household. What is it?
So clothing, apparel, like accessories, stuff like that, I'm probably at like 50 to 60%. So it's a majority. And then the rest would be beauty, grocery,
Hmm.
electronics, uh, and that should make up the other half. So with returns, it is something not everybody like really talks about or
Yeah.
emphasizes,
Yeah.
but there are certain categories that have way higher returns. And so I'll tell you guys, I think maybe like two categories that I've noticed, and I've actually stopped selling them because of that. So one is women's shoes. For whatever reason, those have, like, for me, when I was selling, maybe like a couple hundred units of those shoes in, I want to say, October, November, I was getting like 25 to 30% return rates, which if you sell 200 shoes, you get 50 to 60 back or more, and that if those get returned and they're unsellable, there goes your profit. So the solution to that would be to sell a couple thousand pairs of shoes,
Yeah.
which is a lot more capital, or you can pivot and go into something else. The other category I think would be maybe like running shoes in particular.
Yeah.
So if it's like a newer brand, or if it's like a brand that maybe hasn't been around for a long time, you got to think of who's buying it. So it's someone who's trying it out for the first time, most likely. It's not like a dad shoe, like a Nike Monarch or like an
Yeah.
Air Force One or something that someone's buying over and over again because their shoe's worn out or something. If they're buying like a brand new, like on running
Cloud
shoe,
running
or
shoe. Yeah.
like a Hoka, or some specific like Asics or something,
Yep.
someone's trying a new shoe, they are they're definitely higher likely to return it if it doesn't fit right or something, because they're buying it from Amazon. They're not going to Dick's Sporting Goods to try it on first. So
Yeah.
that's something to think about.
Yeah, something we talk about in GFNF is how COVID just totally normalized the like approach of just buying stuff online, trying it on, and returning if it doesn't fit. Like that's totally normal now. And
Yep.
it's nice when you're the buyer, but it's not nice when you're the seller. And running shoes on specifically is one of the first running shoes I ever sold on Amazon, and the returns are brutal. I still am a fan of selling running shoes on Amazon. Just first of all, I'll only buy from an authorized retailer who will accept returns, and then second is a lot of times on running shoes, I've noticed the margins are still fine. Like I'll pay,
Right.
$80 to $100 for a shoe that sells for 180 to 200. So I'm like, I can sell this shoe at cost on eBay so easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's definitely the big difference, is the margins on a lot of shoes can be like astronomical. Like that can make up for that 30% return rate.
Yep.
Another thing too, I don't know exactly right now, but I know when you sell like FBM products and you get a return, you can charge a restocking fee.
Yep.
You can charge, damage fees and stuff like that. I don't know exactly. Maybe someone in the community will be able to, comment or something. If FBA returns, if it comes back unsellable, if you're able to charge anything for that. Do you know?
I don't believe so. So how I understand FBA returns, and I'm just like I just had 200 units land at FBA, and these are all shoes, and this was yesterday. So I'm about to find out pretty soon. But how the returns work with FBA, and I've had this on like Lulu bags and stuff, is if the item is in sellable, so with FBA, right, fulfillment by Amazon, let me start at the basics. The item is being shipped and fulfilled by Amazon to the buyer. If the buyer wants to return, they send it back, and that item, instead of going back to you, the seller, goes back to the Prime Center closest to them, right? And they then accept the return. If the return is sellable back onto Amazon, which Amazon's warehouse determines, I assume, they will just put the item back in your active inventory. That even goes for shoes. If the shoe is in new condition and sellable back, they will put it back into your active inventory, and just it'll show as a product that is ready to be sold again and doesn't need to be modified. And for this entire process I just spoke about, I'm getting emails during the process of, okay, an item's been returned and Amazon's authorized to return, but I'm not having to click anything or approve anything. It's different from FBM in that. Now, if the product cannot be sold back and Amazon determines that, then it goes back into a section of your FBA dashboard where basically a list of products will build up over time, and you can place what's called the reclaim order. And basically what you're doing is submitting an order. It's like the exact opposite of submitting an item to FBA to send in. You're submitting an order to get products sent back to you, and that usually costs anywhere between 50 to 60 cents per unit. And Amazon will then send you like a big box, almost like you would have sent to them, of products back to your doorstep. So that's the return approach with Amazon. The concern is that, like, for a pair of running shoes, I don't know if I necessarily trust these Amazon warehouse centers with determining if a product's sellable back or not. My concern would be, selling a pair of running shoes, the box looks fine, and maybe someone actually used them or someone swapped them out or something, like they probably don't do a ton of due diligence in checking the products to make sure that they're just as they were sold. And for me, I see that as just a huge vulnerability for bad feedback, because sure, if someone leaves me bad feedback,
Right.
they'll say, yeah, look, we fulfilled the order, this won't apply to your account, like to the buyer, that's what they'd say. But my concern is like, okay, that's just a room for like I could have had a happy buyer in that case, and that's not something that I want to have, is just
Yeah.
bad feedback left and right. So that's the return process with FBA. Um, Ideally, like Nate said, it's like when you're working at scale, that doesn't really matter as much. Like the guy selling hundreds and hundreds of products a day or whatever, they're not concerned about the returns. Like you don't hear them talk about returns, exactly what Nate said, because first of
Yeah.
all, they're doing enough volume to where it's not crushing their margins. And then secondly, they've been selling for long enough to have a good understanding of what products are going to have high return rates, and they probably just don't sell them. That's kind of something
Yeah.
I've learned. It's like the guys who are crushing it and not complaining about returns are the ones who are probably selling less shoes than the other person, right? Like that's
Hmm.
um
Yeah.
yeah. So,
One other note too,
yeah.
McKay, is the removal orders
Mhm.
for FBA getting it sent back to your house. I believe those fees are doubling like this month or
I
next month
saw
or
a tweet
something.
about that. Yeah. Can you explain
Yeah.
that? I don't know much about that.
So what you said when they were, it's like 50 to 60 cents. It's now going to be like $1 to $1.20, or whatever the cost breakdown really is. It's going to be double what it currently is. I believe like the end of this month, or maybe now. I forget what the date is, but
Sure.
so that cost is now going to double. So that can affect some people, but it's not something you should really like daunt upon, like
Yep.
get down in the dust about. Like
Yeah.
it's gonna happen. What will result of that is most likely, some people will quit, but for the most part, prices may just go up a little bit.
Yeah.
Ideally, right?
Yeah, yeah.
If the seller has to take on a new cost, that means they're going to sell products for a higher price because they have to now, account for potential new expenses that didn't like exist before.
Yeah.
So
No, we've had guys like with flippers, for example, like guys will buy products and they got returns on them, but then they go back and look at the price and they're $60 higher than they were when they started, and
yeah,
you sell it right back. So returns aren't
yeah,
always the end of the world. And like Nate said, if you just sit and daunt on them, like that's just affecting your time. Like it's not going to. Uh, Very rarely, once you get selling, very rarely are you going to be looking at a product and not purchasing because you're worried about a return. If the margin's there, then the Chad in you or whatever is just going to decide to buy it. Right,
yeah.
and that's what we're looking at. We're not looking at return rates. Um,
Right.
Nate, do you do mostly FBM or FBA?
I'm like 95% FBA. So I use what's called a prep center that I'll send all of my inventory to. I'll pay a flat fee per unit.
Hmm.
It scales higher if it's like a bigger product. I think so the base price I pay is 97 cents. And then if it's over 14 inches on one side, I pay like $1.17. And then if it's like an oversized product, I'll pay a little bit more. But I found that the prep center has been, a godsend for me.
Yeah,
Like I've saved so much time from like, boxing up stuff. And yeah,
and
so
you're in New
that,
York, right? You're in a state with sales tax, so does your prep center is that in a tax-free state?
yeah, I'm in Massachusetts and we have a 6.25% tax rate. Sorry
Okay.
if there was just noise in the
No, you're
background.
good. You're good. Okay, sick. Yeah. So,
So oh yeah. So
oh,
my
you're in
prep center's in New
Massachusetts. My bad,
Hampshire.
not New York. Okay. Your prep center's in New Hampshire.
Correct.
Got it.
Yep.
Okay, sick. Um, so with FBA, what does your process look like for fulfilling orders as far as like what's your day to day with Amazon right now? Are you sourcing everything? Do you have a VA who works for you? Something I talk about a lot in GFNF is it's so quick. I did this when I was starting. I went out and hired a VA thinking it would make my life so much easier. And I didn't know enough about anything online arbitrage or sourcing to even coach a VA on getting that done. I've talked about it a million times in our group. What's your day to day look like now? Do you have a VA who does that?
Yeah, so about like a month and a half, maybe like a month ago,
Hmm.
I split a VA with like one of my best friends that also does FBA. So I have one VA right now. They produce like about 5 leads on average a day. But very crucial. you need to spend probably like 200 to 400 hours of doing sourcing yourself. So you know a good strategy, you know if products are good or not, if they're going to sell, you know, all these fundamentals that we talked about earlier, and then you can go and hire a VA. But if you hire a VA, perhaps like you did, you might not have all those strategies down where like it could be where you're like, oh shit, like, well, I got this VA, but maybe they're not making good decisions, and I don't know how to really coach him.
Yeah.
So you wanna have those fundamentals down first. I'd say like 3 to 6 months of doing sourcing on yourself on your own, and then if you have the capital, if you're producing enough profit a month, hire that out.
Yeah, outsource it.
Oh,
Yeah.
and then my process for FBA. So VA gets a lead. I'll check it out. If it checks all my boxes off, I'm going to buy it or at least do a test buy. And then I'll add that product to my Amazon catalog. So add the inventory. And then I'll go to my prep center. After it takes like a couple hours for it to sync up with the prep center software. Once it's synced up with their software, I'll make an inbound shipment because everything I order is going there.
Yep.
So I'll make the inbound shipment, put all the products there, the quantities and all that, the tracking information. And yeah, once they get it, then I'll do an outbound shipment. Once it's all processed, pay the 97 cents per unit. Boom.
Got
Let
it.
it go to Amazon
There
and
you go.
sell.
Never see it. Yeah. Nate, you use tactical arbitrage, right? Or you have in the past? Okay.
Yeah, I used it for like maybe 3 months.
Okay. Yeah, I have some questions about that because we have guys who have asked that question about tactical arbitrage. I've never used it, and what I've explained, Nate, is I don't think it's necessarily great for. What I explained to them was actually what you explained to me, which is it's probably not ideal for finding leads. It might be more ideal for finding sites with leads, and then also it can be a really easy way to become too reliant on software for sourcing, which can greatly downgrade the quality of leads that you're coming across as a result of relying on software too much. What's your experience been with that?
So I got TA with the idea that TA would be like a VA, but on steroids or something. Like it just scan all these websites and it just starts spitting out leads. I quickly found out that it's 25 to 40% of the leads didn't actually match the product. So there were mismatches. And then I found that, stuff was out of stock and there was no web page anymore. Like the product was taken down. So after a couple months of using TA, I felt like it wasn't really worth it. And it was creating more headaches and there was more tinkering with it than I would like to have, done. I would hope it would just, work.
Yeah.
The other thing is that, it has maybe like 400 websites it'll scan, but there'll be times where you're sourcing and there's a super off-label website that is very legit, but it's not on TA. So TA would never have found that product. And maybe like for example, there was these Nike footballs I was buying in September. There is a website. It had the junior size football for $16. The next price I could find for it was like $25. So that $7 difference was huge because these you're selling for like $40 and you're making close to $10 profit a piece.
Yeah.
But it was just like a small mom and pop sports shop, and I bought the entire stock.
That's awesome. And tactical arbitrage would have never scanned that site, right, to find it.
Nope.
Interesting. Going back to the prep center topic, how long were you doing FBM before you moved on to a prep center?
So I was doing FBA pretty much the entire time.
Okay.
I was obviously prepping in my house. So I spent a few months doing it. I spent like a month and then I got a prep center. And this prep center was garbage, to be honest. They kind of bait and switched me. So they said their fast service was like 1 to 2 days, but they had like a $300 startup fee. And I paid the $300 for the startup fee. And then lo and behold, their fast service was not available. It was like medium or slow. because they had 3 tiers of like how fast they'll process your stuff.
Wow.
So I went with the medium service, which was, I believe, 4 to 6 business days for them to process your inventory, and then they'll ship it out. And I was finding out that like every shipment I sent there, granted, I didn't send a lot there because I was just testing it out,
Yeah.
but every single shipment I was sending, it was taking 6 business days, which that can
Crazy.
be 2 weeks,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know?
Wow.
So I stopped using them and I went back to just prepping in my house, 100% of the time. And then about maybe a month and a half ago is when I got a new prep center, and this one's been working tremendously.
Yeah. It's
So
crazy hearing horror stories about prep centers, to be honest, because it's like they've got. I mean, I've never owned or operated a prep center, but you'd think that their task is like fairly straightforward as far as what goes on there. But you hear
yeah,
horror stories all the time about like people having a prep center who's unresponsive or slow or. So how did you find your new prep center? Was that through like a friend that you had made through networking for Amazon sales or a website?
yeah, it was through a friend. And just a note on maybe something I should have avoided
Uh huh.
before is maybe going with a prep center that has different tiers is not the way to go, because like if you put yourself in the position of that prep center, that's like way more work. Now you got to divide up all these stuff you're getting into, like, okay, these are the fast people, these are the medium people, if they just had one flat fee,
Yeah.
everything would go faster.
Yeah.
So maybe that's something to look out for. But I found mine through the network, um, and he just recommended it one day because I was complaining about mine. I was like, dude, I'm not even using my prep center anymore. They're too slow. He's like, hey, try these guys out.
Yeah.
So I reached out to the new prep center, and we had like an introductory call, and it went well. Sent out like 50 test units to them, see how it went. They, were pretty fast. And ever since then, I mean, I send a few hundred units a week to them now. So
That's awesome.
things are going well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, the point you made about the tier-based prep centers is interesting. Like by default,
Yeah.
a tier-based prep center is always incentivized to just ship out the lowest tier, right? The best and
Yeah.
quickest shipping rate as opposed to anyone paying less. And the thing about that's tough, especially for newer sellers, is those those slower tiers are probably catered towards new resellers, right? People who can't afford to use the fastest shipping rate or the fastest turnover
Yeah.
rate. So it almost creates a larger barrier to entry than there should be for new Amazon sellers who just want to automate FBA when really they could be
Yeah.
saving probably time and money at that pace. 6 days, right? That's crazy to just send it over to FBA themselves. That's nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. The
interesting.
FBA is all about like speed and efficiency. And if stuff takes, say it takes 5 days from when you order it to get to the prep center, and then it takes 6 business days, like you're playing with fire, because like unless you're selling stuff like that week, the second it checks in, you could be teetering on your credit limits if you're using credit cards and stuff like that, your statements, all that stuff.
Yeah. Here, 1 second. Yeah, I just accidentally messed up the 1 second. My bad. I forgot to collapse this. Discord.
So I can go over a couple tips for new seller. I wrote a couple notes
Yeah, that
down.
sounds
Just
great. Here, 1 second. I just need to fix up our window capture real quick. But
okay.
we'll be in audio only mode right now. If you want to if you want to go for it.
Yeah. So I wrote down two pretty good tips. So the first tip I'd say for like new sellers, when you're going into selling, I'd have the mindset of not taking out any profits of this business until you're either maybe like 2 or 3 months in, or you've hit that $50,000 to $100,000 of sales. The reason being is because you want to be able to compound your money, and you want to be able to roll that back into your business. And you can grow faster if you're not, taking out profits. You're rolling it back into the business. Again, you're investing this money into building something bigger and bigger, and possibly bigger faster. And then number two, I'd say just network with people. I mean, the internet is worldwide, so you might be able to meet people across the country, across the world, etc. And even more so, like, you might have some people like that you grew up with or that you're friends with that might be interested in doing this, and that sense of like personal accountability could be another motivating factor that could push you to excel faster. Like if you go to the gym with someone who
Yeah.
sells on Amazon or eBay, I mean, you guys can just build off each other. I mean, so those are like two tips that I'd tell a new seller.
Awesome. And how did you so in the last podcast, Marty and Zach talked about the importance of their network that they built. How did you build your network? How did you meet those guys? How did you meet other guys in the space to kind of just become friends with them? And
Yeah. So obviously the coaching course I had, there's a big network there. So I met quite a few sellers there. And then honestly, when you first start your Amazon store, you should start an Instagram account that's solely dedicated to FBA. I feel like they said that on your other podcast
they did.
too.
Yeah, Marty said that. Marty was preaching about that.
Yeah, so just do that and start following other people. It doesn't matter like how big or small they are of sellers. Like just follow them, reach out, say hello. You can always ask questions. Like there's no real bad questions. There might be some questions that someone might just say, "Yo, go Google that," and why ask me?
Yeah.
But just introduce yourself. Be nice. Most people in the community are very nice. And then so I met Zach in another reselling Discord. I had gotten him into some crypto back like last year or 2 years ago now, I forget.
Yeah.
And then Marty I met on Instagram, and yeah, we all just kind of hit it off together, and we all seem like pretty good friends now. It's cool because we've never met in person, but everyone's very nice to each other.
Yeah, no, totally. And it's like I was explaining on the last podcast that these, like, just building friendships with people on Discord, I've done it for years, and what I've always realized and always understood is like there's more to be gained, right? The goal, obviously, of all of us being in a Discord server or a group as friends is for us to share leads, right? Or for us to communicate with each other, or for me to send a product to Nate and Nate can check if the lead a VA sent me is a pair of matching socks. I did it this morning with Z-Sodes. My VA had sent me a pair of Nike socks. They looked identical, but they weren't the same. If I didn't have a network of people to ask that to, I probably would have bought the socks this morning and it wouldn't have ended up well. It's random little things, and those friendships aren't transactional. They're actual friendships that you communicate with people on Discord. And I see these guys as business partners. That's the mindset it should be. It should be, I see Nate as a sister company to my Amazon store. And all of us are selling similar products, right? Everyone's selling Nike, Lego, flippers, Lulu bags, whatever it is. We're all selling the same stuff. We can all operate in the same space. And what's great about Amazon is there's enough for everyone to go around. I saw some tweets this week about people talking about how like sneaker Twitter's going to ruin Amazon. And it's like, no, sneaker Twitter's not going to ruin Amazon, because I understand what they're saying, right? Sneaker Twitter can brick a product when we want to brick a product. That's not a problem. It's, these products that we're buying sell 13,000 units a month. I don't think people understand how many that is. That's 13,000 units a month on a pair of Nike socks, let's say. That is more stock than most random release dunks will have in total, not to mention a large majority of stock gets hold. So yes, we can brick a product if we want to, but the large majority of products, if you just look at Keepa data, which is not accessible for many of the things we've resold in the past, right? A pair of Jordans won't have Keepa data to back it up because it's just releasing once and then going to restock. It's a completely different model, right? It's not the Amazon model. So the idea that sneaker Twitter is going to come into Amazon this year and that everyone needs to go into Amazon, no. What we're going to see this year, I'm kind of ranting, Nate, but I just need to get this off my chest. What we're going to see this year is a separation of the reseller we saw between the year of 2020 and 2022, which was we saw the pools, we saw the weights, we saw, whatever it was. We resold all these COVID items. Nintendo Switches, all of that stuff. And now it's going to become more into a separation of that person is probably moving into Amazon. The person who was only doing sneakers is going to fall off. That's the truth. It is not worth anyone's time to be only reselling sneakers right now. as far and when I say sneakers, I'm talking about a dunk release that happened this morning on Finish Line and JD Sports. There's one of those every 2 weeks at this point. It's not worth your time looking into it anymore, and that's the approach a lot of people have taken. So now what we're going to see is a kind of a turnover. More people are either going to say, "Hey, I'm going to make an attempt at Amazon. I see the potential here." It's not going to be as easy as buying a swimming pool at Target was one morning in July of 2020, but
Right.
I can make really good money if I put the time in and scale. And so what we're going to see this year is a separation of the lazy reseller and the reseller who probably should be reselling. The lazy reseller probably should not have been reselling from the first place. And that's just the truth.
Yeah.
So that's just something I've kind of picked up on. And Amazon, there's so much room for everyone to eat. I'm sure Nate can attest this. Like with all these products we're buying the biggest brands in the world's products at discount to sell for usually just above retail cost. And these are products that will sell for above retail cost if we wanted them to all day long.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And to build off that too, if you're a sneaker guy, if you like to bought sneakers and stuff like that, you can pivot and find your way in Amazon. There are like hundreds of thousands of footwear that you can sell. You don't have to like be so like narrow minded that you can only sell Jordans, you can only sell Dunks, etc. Like if you open up your horizons, you're going to be able to find your way on Amazon, and you can easily sell $100,000 a month with just shoes. You can get New Balance, Nike, Reebok, Under Armour, Adidas. There's so many shoe brands that are selling like hundreds, if not thousands of units a month. Like you could find your way. It obviously just takes the effort. It takes time and effort to build that system. But the great thing about Amazon is once you build that system, you can like outsource tasks. Like if you don't want to deal with like putting in tracking information and shipments for your prep center, you can hire that out for $200 a month, $300 a month. There's so many things you can outsource, and the opportunity is there. There's no like scarcity of products for Amazon.
Yeah.
If you go on Keepa, you can see that in the United States, there's like 1 billion products that Keepa is tracking. 1 billion.
So nuts. Yeah.
And worldwide, there's like 4 billion products that Keepa's tracking. So like, it's out there.
Yeah. Infinite access to data for sure.
Yeah.
Nate, what's your goal for this year as far as sales go? Are you trying to get into like wholesale, or what strategy are you taking this year with your Amazon game?
Yeah, so we didn't brush upon it yet, but last year, so I started in July, and all of last year, I think I did like about $300 and maybe $350,000 of sales, which resulted in like somewhere around $50,000 in profit. So this year, I am setting a very high goal. I'd like to sell $2 million on Amazon.
Let's go.
And hopefully that results in 200 to maybe 400,000 in profit. We'll see. But I'd like to definitely get into wholesale a little bit. The thing that I definitely like about wholesale is it's kind of like the stability. So you'll be able to make your purchase orders every month of hopefully products that you're buying at the cheapest possible compared to some OA people that might only be able to buy it, once a year, stuff like that. And then this book right here that you guys can probably see, it's 12 months to 1 million. I started reading that, listening to it, and it's kind of all about private label and like really the business structure around that. I definitely see myself getting into private label, but it's literally starting a whole new business that's even probably more time intensive than Amazon FBA. So I'd like to do that, but maybe not this year. We'll see. This year, OA wholesale.
Yeah,
for sure.
Definitely the place that I'd say like 90% of Amazon sellers should be. We get questions all the time about someone starting a private label brand, and the questions are coming from people who don't know how to use Keepa. And that's completely fine, but point being is you have to start with thinking that you can skip past OA and wholesale to get over to starting a private label brand. That will not work for the large majority of people, right? It's a very, very difficult task. private label is such a different game than wholesale and online arbitrage. What's nice is kind of what Nate's talking about. We see this very standard trajectory of people scaling up online arbitrage. And Nate, when you get into wholesale, like your goal is this year, you're not going to just dump all the online arbitrage knowledge you've taken, right, and just let it go. You're going to continue doing that as a foundation, right?
Absolutely. You gotta keep doing what works,
Yeah.
and you can build upon that. So if you can stick with OA and have work up to like maybe $80,000 in sales a month, and consistently do that every month, maybe with like fluctuating effort.
Yeah.
But if you can, then take pieces of that, outsource it to some VA or something, then you can replace that time that you gained now going to pursue wholesale leads and wholesale accounts, all that stuff to, just continue building, really.
Yeah. Something Soros from Arbitrage Ops had said was, and I like this point a lot, is like a lot of people see the process of like doing doing online arbitrage to get to wholesale as like the finish line or as the goal. And what he kind of explained was like, that's not even his goal. In fact, he did wholesale and now he's coming back to online arbitrage because he's been able to scale up his online arbitrage sector of his business so much that it doesn't even make sense to be waiting on like a product list to buy Dove soap for 11 months to then get a bunch of allocation of Dove soap. Like, it's a different model. And I think that's a really interesting strategy that a lot of people overlook, is thinking that online arbitrage is just a step to get to wholesale when it's not necessarily that. They can work alongside each other and they don't need to really overlap at all.
Yeah. As you guys like keep just taking in content, you're going to see that some, 8-figure sellers might be 40% wholesale, but 60% OA still. So like,
yeah,
that just goes to show, I mean, wholesale is great, but it's not like the finish line. It's not like what you have to do. Like you can absolutely stick with OA, make, $200,000 profit a year if you wanted to, and, build from there. Like you can still go higher and higher. So yeah.
Yeah. Nate, something I didn't ask Marty and Zach on the last podcast, but I want to ask you, and hopefully I'll ask the next guest, is can you break down what software you use for your Amazon sourcing and the expense that comes with? The point I'm trying to make with it is that the barrier to entry as far as software tools that we use for Amazon is so much lower than sneaker botting ever was. We're not paying $100 a month for 4 bots. We're paying maybe $30 here, $20 here, $40 here. Can you explain and break down where your fees go?
Absolutely. So basically, if you want to start, you're probably looking at 3 fees. Your Amazon seller account is $40 a month. Not that bad. It's like 2 lunches or, a couple Chipotle meals.
Yep.
There's Keepa, which is $20 a month. So you're at $60 now. Not that bad. And Seller Amp, which is also $20 a month. $80 a month total, and you could be a friggin' rock star on Amazon.
Yeah.
So
and that's
what other business can you start for $80 a month?
Yeah, exactly. And those are the tools. What I like to explain is like the Seller Amp and Keepa are the tools that the guys you see on Twitter doing 300K a month in sales, they're using the same thing as you. It's not like there's some crazy gate kept software that's allowing these guys to find leads at a higher rate. They've just scaled enough to hire out, like Nate was saying, parts of the job that they are not interested in, or sourcing and building that out more so that they have people using that software for them. But the thought that like there's a better something better than Keepa that's allowing these guys to find leads isn't true. Like there's one Keepa, and Keepa kind of holds the sector of Amazon data without really many competitors.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you can always try out new softwares. Like Helium 10 is another software that I've never used, but some people like it. It's more so for like private label researching and stuff like that. There's also, I mean, there's always going to be new software coming out. And if they have free trials, go for it, try it out. But I wouldn't like just bounce around like, oh, I gotta try this one, oh, I gotta try this one, oh, I gotta try this one. Like, stick with Keepa, Seller Amp, get really good at those, and then you can experiment with other ones.
Yeah, I love that. That's awesome. Nate, did you ever do any like retail arbitrage, or was that ever something you did?
No, not for FBA. I don't think I've done any retail arbitrage. I maybe went out once to like look at Legos at Walmart,
Yeah.
but I actually forgot my phone in my truck when I went in, so I was like, whatever, this
Headed
isn't
right
for
back.
me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a quick way to not like it for sure. Is
Yeah, I was
forgetting
like,
your phone.
whatever.
Um, yeah, interesting. Yeah, the reason I ask is I just noticed that a lot of sellers, even if they started with retail arbitrage, once they see some return on their online arbitrage strategy, it's very tough to want to go to 4 Walmarts on a Thursday. Like it doesn't, once you see that
Yeah,
you can go on Dick's Sporting Goods and buy 10 of an item and make far more than you would, not to mention with retail arbitrage, you're driving and you're not guaranteed anything. Your time, whatever you
yeah,
value it at, you're not being guaranteed a single item. So online, you can see if a product's available in 10 seconds.
yeah. Like if you're looking in the if you put yourself in some business person shoes, can you scale a retail arbitrage business? Yes,
Hmm.
but you're going to be paying, American wages. So you're going to be paying, $20 an hour for someone to go shop for you. Or you can be online and have VAs that work in the Philippines that you're never going to pay $20 an hour for, because $20 here is like paying them like a doctor's salary over
Yeah.
there.
Yep.
So you're going to be paying $3 or $4 an hour, and they're going to be able to, search websites that are, worldwide basically. The only thing I'd say about RA that would be a good thing is if you live in an area that's not very competitive, that has like outlet stores,
Mm.
you can find opportunity there. I don't really I live near one outlet store that's like an hour and a half away. So that's kind of over my threshold. But
Yeah.
if you're like a half hour from an outlet store, you can always try it out. And if there's no one else there, you're like looking around, seeing if someone's got a shopping cart full of the same item. Maybe that person's probably selling online, and maybe you don't want to like compete with them. But if it's a ghost town in there and you can just score 25 shoes at a time or something else, like maybe it's worth doing it once a week, just to because the ROIs can be higher than OA
Yeah.
a lot of the time. So
Yeah.
that could be one advantage that you have over someone else, because not everyone lives near that outlet. So take that competitive advantage to your own advantage.
Yeah. Yeah, the first time I did RA, I was at a Home Depot in Ohio, and like the RA for Amazon at least. I used to do shoes in store, but
Hmm.
RA for Amazon, I was at a store in Ohio, and the clearance section for that Home Depot was in the far back corner of the store, like as far back as you can go in the store. Um, and there was just a clearance sign, and I go back there, no one else is back there, no one else is anywhere in the vicinity of that area, so I'm assuming no one's back there. I go back there and it's like some 30-year-old dude. I see Seller Amp on his phone and he has a barcode scanner in his hand. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm turning right around. Yeah,
Damn.
and so I was like, dude, like I'm in Ohio. I didn't think it was clipped like this, but I'm glad because that kind of inspired me to just like start looking online, and that worked out better. But
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
yeah, retail arbitrage is definitely once you get it locked down, right? Once you know someone's restocking patterns, or you're taking care of an employee at a store who's willing to like kind of have a mutually beneficial relationship with you, as far as a friendship that is business focused, and you
Right.
stay in communication with them as far as stock goes and stuff like that. It can be very beneficial because you're not sitting there walking in every day checking if they got a restock. You have a text on your phone saying they got a
Yeah.
restock. Um, yeah, the retail arbitrage business model is interesting. There's guys in our group, Nate, who I'm sure groups you're into, they crush it with retail arbitrage.
Yeah, for sure. They must be in those like good
Yep,
niche
rural
markets,
areas. Yeah, exactly.
you know?
Yep.
Yeah.
Nate.
So if you're in that, then, try it out. Why
Yeah.
not? What do you have to lose? A
Yeah,
day?
exactly.
Try it out.
Nate, one of my final questions for you is, like you mentioned that your goal this year is 2 million in sales. What are you gonna do differently this year than you did last year to get there?
So definitely going to keep upping my credit game, because
Mm,
that'll be a huge key. Like right now, I have like about $100,000 in credit that I have to use for my business, and I'm gonna need probably double that to be able to purchase enough quantity of items to be
yeah.
able to hit that 2 mil. So that's one thing. Another thing, I mean, now I'm like legit full time Amazon, so
That's
I will
recent too,
be.
right?
Yes,
Because
yes,
I remember.
very like literally like this week.
Congrats, bro. Yeah, that's because I didn't know that. I was gonna start asking you about construction on here, so I didn't know that you were full time Amazon.
Yeah,
That's awesome, bro. Yeah,
yeah.
Nate was sending his orange bars for December, and I was like, dude, like I don't know how much you're making doing construction, but based off the orange bars, I don't think it's worth it.
Yeah, I'll tell you guys, like, so December was easily my biggest month. It was over 150 grand in sales,
Mm,
and that was, about $30,000 profit. And that compared to my full-time job, like I would literally have to work and never sleep, and then I'd maybe make that much.
mm.
So it was kind of the deciding factor that like I shouldn't really be doing this anymore. I should like, take Amazon, keep going hard and, take it as high as I possibly can.
Yeah,
And here we are, a couple weeks later.
that's awesome. Congrats, and you don't regret it, not yet, at least.
No, no,
No.
no. I don't. I mean, the construction business is great, but it takes a toll on your body.
Yeah,
Like I said earlier, it's really hard to scale. Like, the people out doing this type of work aren't necessarily like, it's just they're a dime a dozen, like
yep,
to
yep.
find that loyal worker that will grind with you and like be your second in command type of guy.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, here we are.
yeah. So.
Very happy.
Yep, that's awesome, bro. Congrats. When I asked that question to Zach and Marty last time, the answer is always simple, and the answer will be the same for everyone. It's just buying more. Like the only difference between me doing as many sales as I'm doing per month and Nate doing as many sales as he is he has access to $100,000 in credit, right? That's incredible. And
Yeah.
something a lot of those guys on YouTube, I'm sure Nate watches too, say is like and I'm not necessarily sure this is a great goal when you're first starting off, but once you're established and you think you've maxed out your personal resources as far as what you can be using to buy and turn over onto Amazon, their strategy is like, look, I'm going to use other people's money to sell products and then I'll take the profit. And they're basically of the mentality that they are using someone else's money to make their own money and then pay back the person who they're getting the money from. And it works, right? That's the line of credit, like business model that most established
Yeah.
businesses have to use at some point. Um, so, and it just happens to work for Amazon, but you cannot do that without fundamental understandings of how to use Keepa and how to make informed purchases. Because what's even scarier than using your own money to buy a product that you're iffy on
Yeah.
is using the bank's money to buy a product that you're iffy on.
Yeah, and one other thing too, so like I think literally like a month, not even a month ago, was like about my fifth month selling,
Mm.
and at that point I had done, about 200,000 in sales. Amazon offered me a loan,
Yeah,
so Amazon offers you loans to literally build your business bigger. So they offered me $33,000 of liquid
credit. Yeah,
capital that
yeah,
I could use to buy more inventory. Huge like mental barrier to actually accept that, but I did, and since then like it was like a no-brainer. After I did, I was like, all right, I know exactly what I'm buying. I'm buying it all, and
So
it's
okay,
gonna
so
work out.
you're the first. Okay, so you did take the Amazon loan. I saw someone on Twitter today with a $216,000 loan offer from Amazon. And yeah, and I
Damn.
was like, that's crazy. I don't know how they calculate it, but that's nuts. So what was the thought process there of accepting a $33,000 loan from Jeff?
From Jeff.
Yeah.
So it was like I forget the percentage, but they broke down all the costs and everything, and it was
Okay.
gonna cost like $1,300 to use $33,000. So I was like, yeah, I can definitely make way more than $1,300 in profit,
Yeah.
to where this makes sense that I can utilize, all the money, maybe not right away, but I
Yeah.
can utilize, the majority of it. It's a 6-month loan, so it's not going to be, hanging over my head for 10 years or something. The payments are like $5,800 a month or something like that. Whatever 33 comes out
Sure.
divided by 6.
Yep.
So I figured it was definitely a no-brainer. And once you do that, you build that reputation with Amazon. The next one I'm gonna get could be 80,000.
Wow.
They're only gonna go up from there.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. And how far into that journey how far into Amazon were you offered the loan to take?
Yeah, it was like a little over a month ago. So it was like, 5 months into
5 months in.
selling on Amazon.
Okay. Interesting.
The dollar amounts will definitely vary.
Yeah.
I know people that their first offer was like $6,000, 3,000. I was super super surprised when I opened up my seller app and it said 33. I was like, is this a typo? Should
Yeah.
there be one less zero?
Yeah, yeah. That's hilarious.
But they definitely gauge it off of your sales and what type of growth you're going through and all that stuff. So yeah, that's why I guess I got 33.
Yeah, that's
But
awesome.
yeah,
Congrats on using someone else's money to make money. That's how it goes. Yeah.
yep,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Awesome. Well, do you have anything else you wanted to go over, Nate? I feel like we touched on a lot of stuff. Maybe just some general advice for someone who's just starting on Amazon looking for some direction, with sourcing or strategies you picked up, just anything you have to spit out.
Yeah, I mean, well, one, you guys can always reach out to me on Instagram,
Mm,
Nate Flips FBA. Ask me a question, I'll help you out. And the other thing, I mean, just take 20 to 50 hours and just indulge in as much education as possible. It might be hard to like be on like a structured like path of learning. You're going to be like jumping video to video and they might not be the same topic or build off each other, but just take in as much as possible and then put all that education into like action.
mm,
Do like some people paper trade stocks, paper trade, sourcing, like pretend you're going to buy something, mark it down, bookmark it, and then 2 3 weeks later go back to that, see what the price is, see if you can find in the keepa data how many have sold since then, stuff like that, to like
yeah.
just practice and practice and practice. Like it's really just repetitions. Also network.
Yep, it's huge. It's huge. Like you have to, and what's awesome about being in an online community, right? The same Nate met his network through a different group. Same exact thing. Like people in GFNF have such a great opportunity to meet each other and build. Like my hope would be that you build your own smaller group or a group in general out of people you met in GFNF, right? Like that's the idea of a big online community is that sub communities form and
Yeah.
with that, everyone wins. You guys win as smaller sellers. A group like ours becomes better at nurturing smaller communities by default because people are meeting each other in there, and it's a win all around. So, yeah, the importance of networking just can't be reiterated enough because it is so crucial. Nate,
Yep.
where can people find you if they're interested? You said Instagram, YouTube.
Yeah, Instagram, Nate Flips FBA. I don't really use Twitter for Amazon right now, but if you want to follow my Twitter, it's When Retirement, WEN.
There you go.
Um, and then yeah, YouTube. I'm just kind of starting on YouTube, and it's Nate Flips FBA. Um, Me and another seller, Zach, we have a podcast. It's called FBA on the Water. That's been going for a few months, and yeah, I mean,
Awesome.
you'll definitely see me around. I definitely appreciate it, McKay.
Of course,
And
bro.
GFNF, get after it, guys. Like,